The night was unnaturally still, the kind of quiet that presses against your chest and makes every creak of the house feel like a warning. My name's Ethan Caldwell, and I never imagined I'd be standing on my porch in Willow Creek, Montana, in the dead of October 2024, gripping a shotgun with my heart hammering like a war drum. This 200-acre farm has been in my family for 3 generations, every furrow in the soil a testament to my grandfather's sweat, my father's grit, and my own stubborn refusal to let it go. But that night, under a moonless sky, I wasn't just defending land. I was fighting for everything I am. It started with a crash that shattered the midnight hush. My sheep, usually murmuring softly in their pens, went silent to silence, so heavy it woke me before the sound of splintering wood did. My border collie, Titan, was already at the door, his growl low and primal, fur bristling like he sensed the devil himself. Through the bedroom window, I saw headlights slashing across my front gate, harsh, aggressive beams that didn't belong. I yanked on my boots, my hands clammy as I grabbed the shotgun from its rack. It was always loaded, a habit born from years of living out here where help is a long drive away. Titan's bark turned ferocious, his body taut with purpose. He'd been my partner for 6 years, trained to guard the flock and the farm, and that night, his instincts screamed trouble. The gate I'd built myself, sturdy oak reinforced with steel, was a mangled wreck when I got outside. Floodlights snapped on, bathing the scene in stark white. 3 men in dark jackets stood amid the wreckage, one clutching a crowbar that gleamed with fresh splinters. Beyond them, my sheep were in chaos, bleeding in panic as they scattered across the field. Then I heard Ida's sharp, pained cry from one of my lambs, followed by a silence that turned my blood to ice. I smelled blood on the wind, metallic and wrong. One of my animals was hurt, and that lit a fire in my gut that no words could douse. Titan didn't wait for my command. He shot forward, a black and white blur, zeroing in on the man with the crowbar. The guy stumbled, dropping something as Titan's teeth grazed his leg, not biting, just warning. The other 2 froze, clearly not expecting a dog with military precision. I raised my shotgun, the weight familiar in my hands, and fired a warning shot into the sky. The crack echoed like Judgment Day. "Get off my land," I shouted, my voice steadier than I felt. "And tell whoever sent you Ethan Caldwell doesn't break." The men scrambled to a black SUV parked just beyond my property line, tires spinning gravel as they fled. In the floodlight's glare, I saw what the crowbar guy dropped, a wallet. Inside, a driver's license for a man named Derek Holt and a folded receipt from Silver Ridge HOA. My stomach twisted. This wasn't random. This was a message. The next morning, October 10th, 2024, I was still picking up the pieces literally. The gate was beyond repair, its hinges torn out, splinters scattered like shrapnel. My flock was spooked, huddled near the barn, and the injured lamb had a gash on its leg that I'd bandaged at dawn. The vet bill was going to sting, but the real pain was knowing someone had targeted my livelihood. I was measuring new gate posts when a sleek silver Mercedes purred up my driveway. Out stepped Claudia Vance, all polished perfection, blonde hair swept into a bun, tailored suit, heels that had no business on a farm. She carried a leather briefcase and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I'd heard about her for months, pressuring every farmer in Willow Creek to join her HOA, promising community standards and security. Now, standing by my ruined gate, she didn't even blink at the damage. "Mr. Caldwell," she said, her voice syrupy but sharp, "I heard about your little incident last night. Such a shame." She handed me a contract, thick as a novel, like it was a gift. "Our homeowners association can prevent this kind of thing. Enhanced security, property value protection, surely you see the benefits." I scanned the pages, and each word tightened the knot in my gut. Monthly dues of $400, control over my barn's paint color, even my sheep's breeding practices. Buried on page 15 was the real kicker. All wool and meat products had to go through HOA-approved vendors. This wasn't about community. It was about choking my business until I surrendered. "Funny timing, Claudia," I said, handing the contract back. "You show up right after my gate smashed. Almost like you knew." Her smile didn't waver, but her eyes flickered with something cold. "Random vandalism is exactly why you need us," she replied, waving a hand at my farm like it was a problem she could fix. I told her to leave. She did, but not before her gaze lingered on my injured lamb, a glint of satisfaction in her expression that made my skin crawl. That afternoon, I found a note in my mailbox, scrawled in shaky handwriting. Don't sell your wool tomorrow. It's been tampered with. No signature, no explanation, just a warning that kept me up all night. I tested samples from my wool bales anyway, driving them to the county extension office. Clean, as I'd hoped, but the damage was already done. Rumors were spreading my flock was diseased, my farm unsafe. Then came the health assessment. Claudia showed up with a dozen people, claiming to check my shearing shed for safety standards. They fanned out like they owned the place, but I caught one woman near the feed bins, slipping something into her bag. Before I could confront her, my Daisy started convulsing foam at the mouth, legs unsteady. She'd been fine an hour ago. Claudia was quick to snap photos, declaring my shed unsafe, while her team whispered about contamination. The fallout was swift. Buyers canceled contracts. Neighbors I'd known for decades stopped returning my calls. By evening, I found a vial under the hay in the barn, white powder, not dust. Sabotage. Titan led me to a sabotaged water pump, its bolts loosened, pressure valve tampered with. If it had run, it would have burned out, leaving my flock without water. Sheriff Tom Bennett arrived after I called, his weathered face grim as he examined the damage. This isn't kids, Ethan, he said, holding a tampered bolt. Someone knew exactly what to hit. Then we caught 3 men near my pasture, staging photos to make my farm look filthy, one spreading powder near the water trough. Titan sent their camera into the mud, and Tom sent them packing, but not before we saw the photos, staged to ruin me. The town hall meeting on October 15th was a powder keg. Claudia sat at the front, all poise and power, with a health inspector named Victor Price spinning tales of contamination risks. I called him out on his shaky science, and the room went quiet. Then my neighbor Lila Brooks stood up, holding her phone. I filmed this last week, she said, showing grainy footage of strangers spreading powder near my troughs. The crowd split, half bought Claudia's smooth denials, half smelled a rat. She pointed at me, voice rising. This man's negligence endangers us all. Her mask slipped, revealing raw venom. She leaned close as the room cleared, whispering, "You've just signed your death warrant." The final blow came the next morning. Every one of my 42 sheep stood tagless, their ear markers surgically removed. Without those tags, my wool was worthless. Buyers wouldn't touch undocumented livestock. Titan found the tags hidden in a canvas bag behind the shed, each cut with chilling precision. This was no prank. It was a calculated strike to erase my business. I called an old college friend, Nate Harper, a reporter with a knack for digging up dirt. "This is organized extortion," he said after I told him everything. "Claudia's running a racket, and you're not the only victim." That night, at midnight on October 16th, Claudia showed up with 4 thugs and a court order. Titan didn't wait, tackled one guy, teeth sinking into his arm. I fired a warning shot, shouting, "Next one's not in the air." Sirens wailed as Sheriff Tom rolled up with Nate, camera rolling. The court order was a fake, riddled with errors no real judge would sign. Tom cuffed Claudia, her thugs rounded up, one spilling everything to avoid jail. Federal agents later revealed her scheme, a multi-state extortion ring for $1 million in damages, 90 victims. Claudia had used fake inspectors, hired muscle, and shell companies to bully farmers into submission. By October's end, my farm was healing. New tags arrived, contracts were reinstated, and neighbors brought pies and apologies. Nate's article hit national news, exposing Claudia's network. The feds seized her assets, and she faced 15 years in prison. Titan became a local hero, kids drawing pictures of him chasing bad guys. Standing on my porch, watching my sheep graze under a crisp autumn sky, I felt the weight of what I'd survived. Claudia's arrogance, her need to push harder, gave the feds everything they needed to bury her. But here's where I need you. What would you have done in my boots? Would you have signed her contract to avoid the fight? Or would you have stood your ground, knowing it might cost everything? Could you face down hired thugs with just a dog and a gun? Or would you have called it quits when the rumors started? Drop a comment, hit that like button if you're with me, and subscribe if you want more stories of fighting for what's yours. Because out here, when they come for your land, your name, your Lafido, you fold, or do you fight like hell?